Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the latest episode of the Writers Podcast. I have with me today guest Annmarie SanSevero. Hello, Anne. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Not too bad, thank you. And we're here to talk about your latest book, which is The Butterfly Stroke, which is an anthology, correct?
Yeah, it's a collection of short stories. Yes.
Okay. And what type of fiction would you categorize it at?
These are almost equally divided between science fiction and fantasy.
Okay.
What is special about them to me is that every one of the stories in this collection, I had entered into Writers of the Future at some point,
Okay.
and they won between honorable mention and semi-finalists.
Oh, okay.
So they were all my like almost got theirs. and, but they're great stories and I love them.
Okay, very cool. And we'll get into a little bit more about Rise of the Future for people who are not familiar with it. But let's talk about you first. A little bit of your background. Did you always want to be a writer?
I, I'm a nerd. I always wanted to be everything.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted,
Ambitious.
yeah. So I think I started off wanting to be a rockette. I grew up
Oh,
on Staten Island in New York.
okay.
And then I found out they had a height requirement. So that dream was like squashed.
Okay.
Um, and then I wanted to be a chemist.
Wow.
And then I wanted to be a writer. And I wanted to be
Mm,
a teacher. And I wanted to be an historian. And in some ways, because I homeschooled my 4 children, I got to be a lot of those things.
right.
And so it was fun. I even have this lab in my kitchen. It's got like 2 professional microscopes and all these beakers and things you can dissect. And so I've had a lot of fun raising my kids.
Hmm. And were you a big reader growing up?
Huge, huge. I was the only one in my family who was a big reader.
Okay.
And so there's a joke that I'm the white sheep of my family, and and they just didn't understand me in many ways.
Mm,
And so I would often escape from our apartment to the closest library I could find. And the librarians always had different books for me that they thought I'd like. And
mm,
I read about people having courage and doing great things and not feeling afraid. And it
right.
gave me courage. And
Ah.
so, one of my reasons for loving writing, aside from the fact that I have like this crazy overactive imagination,
Hmm.
is I want other people to feel that, especially courage and
Okay.
resilience.
And was there any particular genre of fiction that you liked the most, or writers that you liked the most?
That's hard because um, I remember I told you I was a nerd. I
Mhm.
like pretty much every genre except I don't read erotica.
Okay.
The only horror I've really read is Jonathan Mayberry, uh,
Yes.
because he's such a gifted writer, and I learned from him. And
Mhm.
he's like this genuinely nice man, this giant teddy bear of a guy, um,
Mm.
who is so generous with his knowledge for new writers. So I did read his Patient Zero and learned a lot from it.
Okay.
Uh, I
And
didn't
is
read
that
it.
a book on writing? Sorry.
No, it's a book on zombies, which
Oh, okay.
I would never have like. That's not my thing.
Right.
And but he does this really cool thing where he has the protagonist is in first person and the bad guy is in third person,
Mm.
and it was great. I've been told they're making a Netflix series out of it by the director of John Wick. So
Okay.
um,
Wow.
not that Jonathan needs me to promote him, but he's like he was a good influence on me, and he taught me a lot.
Right. Okay. Any other writers that you like?
Oh, tons.
Tons?
Um,
Yeah.
so it's hard because I have so many writer friends. I'm afraid if I leave
Okay.
one out, I'm going to make them angry. So I'm going to stick with dead people for a
Okay.
minute. uh,
Okay.
I loved Charles Dickens. I still love Charles Dickens.
Wow.
I don't write the way he did. I have this dream of making this Dickensian plot. And if
Mhm.
you've read a lot of Dickens, he has all these plot threads everywhere. And as you're reading it, you're like, this is never, ever going to come together. And at
Mhm.
the end, he ties them all up in this neat little bow. I especially loved his book, Little Dorrit, which was about a young woman who grew up in debtor's prison because of her father. And
Mm.
the whole theme was how everyone needs dignity. Everyone needs to feel like they matter and they're important. And it was
Mhm.
just such a beautiful way of describing that. Um,
Right.
one writer who's alive, but I don't know her, so it's okay. Um, is Bodhi Taney. She wrote this great series called The Zion Covenant that
Okay.
was set during the Holocaust, and I read that during high school.
Mm.
And her husband is an historian, so he really helped her pull in a lot of real world events
Right.
into it. Okay, I'm gonna lie. I'm gonna talk about someone who's alive that I know other than Jonathan. Um, Martin Shoemaker is my mentor,
Okay.
and he does amazing science fiction. He's
Mm.
better at hard sci-fi than I am. And David Hankins is this great indie writer who he's so funny, and everything he writes just makes you laugh. And I think we have so many hard things going on in the world that
Right.
laughing is good. So he's kind of like a modern Terry Pratchett in my
Okay.
mind.
All right.
So,
Very cool. So when did you bite the bullet and decided to become a serious writer?
I've always written just a tiny bit, but because I was a
Mhm.
single mom raising 4 kids, it
Mm.
was a little tricky to like really dive down. I think about the time my youngest hit junior high school, I realized if I don't really do this, it'll never
Mhm.
happen and I'll regret it. And so
Mhm.
I started making sure I wrote every day and studying craft books and doing and going to writers' conferences. And so now it's working. At first, I could only do 15 minutes a day because, I was working 3 jobs, homeschooling
Mm.
4 kids, and I was only one person.
Right.
And but eventually, as they got older, I could do an hour,
Mm.
and so it was, those all add up, all those minutes.
Right. So you've never had any formal education then in writing?
Not in writing, although
No.
I am getting a master's degree in creative writing right now
Oh, okay.
through the Western Colorado program
Okay.
that Kevin J. Anderson runs. It's
Right.
amazing. Um,
Mm.
most of my education in writing has been putting down a lot of words and reading
Right.
a lot of craft books, and
Mhm.
that's it.
Any particular craft books that stand out for you?
Yes, I love Deborah Chester's fantasy fiction formula. That
Mhm.
has been really good and helpful. She taught me about scene and sequel. Uh,
Okay.
I also like self-editing for fiction writers and The
Mhm.
Emotional Craft of Fiction by Donald Moss. I hope I'm
Right.
saying his last name correctly.
Yep.
If I'm not, I
Yep.
hope he forgives me. But all of those were really influential.
Okay. And it's, how long have you been writing seriously then?
Seriously,
Since
about 4
2000?
years
Okay.
or yeah. Um, I mean, like, really making sure I did it all every day and studied
Mhm.
it. Before then, I still wrote, but kind of when I only when I could.
Right. Right. Okay. So, maybe this is a good point to come back to Writers of the Future. Well, when did that feature into your writing career?
Just a couple of years ago. So,
Okay.
David Farland told me about the competition right
Mhm.
before he died. And
Mm.
I was very interested in it, but I didn't know, I'd never written a short story before. I'd always done long fiction.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure it was worth, should I try to learn something else when I'm still trying to get novels published and stuff like that? And
Right.
then I was at Superstars writing seminar. Um, which we'll come back to in a second because I think that's pivotal for people who want to be a writer.
Okay.
And I attended a thing again, Jonathan Mayberry, who was talking about why you should write short stories. So I
Mm.
went because I was like, "I don't think I should." And, um, and he convinced me. And so I
Ah,
started entering, and it changed my writing.
okay.
It I learned pacing. I learned to consistently output things. It helps me test ideas to see if this thing I think is wonderful, can it really turn into a full novel, or is it just kind of a
Mm.
dead idea?
Okay.
And so there's all kinds of ways I use writing short stories. I enter Writers of the Future every quarter, and I plan to until I either win or pro out. At some point, we have too many sales and you can't
Right.
enter. Um, but so I probably am going to pro out next year. So
Mm.
I'm really hoping to win.
Okay. And just for the people that aren't aware of Ray as a Future, do you want to give a little bit of background about what that's all about?
Yeah, it's L. Ron Hubbard started it as a means of helping new writers,
Hmm.
and they do a competition. It's every quarter. There are thousands of people who enter every quarter, so it's not
Right.
an easy competition to win. If you get honorable mention, it means the story is professionally publishable.
Hmm.
And so it's hard to it's not easy to win, but it is very worth it. And one of the things I love is how supportive they are of writers.
Hmm.
And they give them they have a free online seminar on how to write.
Yep. I
And
believe they have a second one now too.
do they? Oh,
I
man,
think
I
so.
gotta
Yeah.
find out. I've only done the first one. Okay.
Okay.
But they're just amazing, and they're good people, and they're
Hmm.
good at helping new writers grow.
Right. Right. Yeah. And uh, every quarter they pick three writers plus they have some honorable mentions, and then at the end of the year, those people that won those quarters they get to go to LA for a course and the banquet, and then the grand prize winner of the 12 finalists is awarded as well. So
Yes.
and it's free to enter, which is rare today in the today's writing world, where most contests require some sort of entry fee. So,
Yeah.
for anybody budding writers out there, it's definitely worth checking out. I'm familiar with itself and have entered into it a couple of times myself.
And they go all out. They
And
do.
they do, yes, they
Yeah.
do. So, uh, I think you kind of explained why you decided to write short stories, but was there anything specifically that was said in that course that made you change your mind about writing short stories?
When Jonathan said nothing will improve your writing faster,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, well, why the why wouldn't I do that?
Right.
And that
And
has
you
really
obviously found that out to be true.
absolutely yes.
Okay.
And I will continue. Like if I have a story being judged right now, and if it wins, I will continue writing short stories. And I do sell to other markets. I have one that came out in July to Sallyport magazine, which was also an honorable mention from Writers of the Future.
Mm,
And so Ray Bradbury used to write a short story a week.
mm.
And maybe when I'm
Wow.
writing full time, I can do that. But while I'm working several jobs, that's not a possibility.
Right, right. Okay, so I guess that's a nice segue into your latest book then, which is The Butterfly's Stroke and Other Stories. How many stories are in this anthology?
I think six. Yeah.
Six.
Yes,
Okay.
I think
And
some of them
they're
are more like little novellas than
oh,
just
okay.
short stories. Yeah.
Okay. So is it how many of the stories like what's the breakdown? Are they all science fiction or there's a mix, fantasy,
It's a
science
mix,
fiction? A
science fiction
mix?
and fantasy. So the lead story, and I don't have these all in order in my head, but I know the lead story is definitely science fiction. It was based off of I read a lot of science articles just because I'm a nerd.
Mhm.
But it was right when Elon Musk was getting approval for human trials on his Neuralink.
Okay.
And I found that fascinating. And so I was like reading everything I could on it. And then I thought, what if we could take that Neuralink, but create a stent that we put beneath the break of someone's spine who's paralyzed
Mm.
and have it connect wirelessly so they could walk again?
Okay.
And that started that story. I have another one on the fantasy end about a supernatural investigator whose
Okay.
assistant is a haunted femur that he has nicknamed Luke Skywalker. And um, so there's both science fiction and fantasy in there.
Right. And so the title story is that the one about the neural link?
Yes, I put that
Okay.
one first, so that's why I titled the collection that.
Okay. Okay. Because when I looked at it, I thought, she's into science fiction. I thought, is this some sort of a homage to Ray Bradbury's Sound of Thunder or something? Because that's got a butterfly wing mention in it as well about the ripples in time. If could be right down to the flap of a butterfly's wings like that. So I just
Well,
thought it
I
might have
wish
been
it was
something like
that
that.
creative. It was more like that's the first story, so that's what I'll call it.
Okay. And this book is out now,
It is.
and it's available at all the usual places.
All the usual places. You can get it in ebook and paperback, and it's Barnes and Noble, Amazon, bookshop.org, Kobo, all the anywhere you could probably think to get it, you can get it.
Okay. And do you do any? Is it these are physical copies, correct?
Yes, there are
Yeah.
both paperback and ebooks.
Okay. And um, do you do signed copies like from your website or something like that as well? Or
I am willing to send people signed book plates. I don't have a shop on my website yet,
okay.
but anyone who contacts me on my website that has purchased my book, I am happy to send them a signed book plate.
Okay,
So,
very good. So you've got 6 stories in that collection. Uh, do you have any other collections or books that you would like to mention?
well, I'm a new writer, as I mentioned. I
Mhm.
do have a middle grade novel coming out in the spring,
Okay.
and that was contracted as a 3-book series. So I'm finishing up book 2 right now. It's called Marked by Magic.
Okay.
It's about a young boy who lives in a kingdom that rejected magic for what they consider the noble art of machines. So that's the
Mm.
steampunky part.
Okay.
And he never he doesn't know anything about his mother. No one's even allowed to talk about her. And
Mm.
it turns out that's because she is from the magical kingdom they rejected, and his father didn't know that until after she passed. And his resentment toward that has caused him to cut her out of his life and his son's life, even her memory. And the theme of the book, even though I don't say this like you never want to preach to kids, that's just
Right.
so boring for a kid.
Yep.
But um, I'm hoping what they'll get out of the story while they have a really fun time reading is that you can love both your parents, even if they're completely different, and it doesn't mean you're rejecting one of them because you think they're
Right.
both awesome.
Right. Okay. I also see that on your site you have something here, The Weird Wilderness, a cryptid bestiary. Or is that an anthology by you, or are you just part of that
I am
anthology?
part of that is a Superstars anthology. They put out a charity anthology every year, and I submitted to it. That particular anthology it had to be about a cryptid, and it had to have an epistolary element in it as well. And
Okay.
every one of those anthologies goes to support their scholarship fund, which
Okay.
is really a great fund to help new writers. My story, the funny part about this is, I don't know if you have children, but
Mhm.
my 4 kids were very good at telling me I'm not funny. And I should not try to be funny. And I was trying to write a funny story.
Oh,
And
okay.
in this one, it was I had 2 cryptids. One was the Fook monster from Arkansas, and one was the Champy, the lake monster from New York, kind of the area I grew up in. And they were elementary school cryptids who were pen pals. And one of them wanted to have a human friend more than anything, and
Mm.
the other one wanted to be a humanologist.
Okay.
And so he would give him all this advice on how to get a human friend. That was absolutely horrible advice.
Okay.
And go ahead, you were about to ask something.
Yeah, for the uninformed, which unfortunately includes me, what is a cryptid?
Oh, I had to look that up too because I didn't know either. When Lisa Mangum, who's the editor, announced the theme, the first thing I
Okay.
did was, "What is a cryptid?"
Right.
Um, it's like Bigfoot, So all those monsters that are Loch Ness Monster or Sasquatch, all those kind of things.
Okay.
Mothman. Does that help?
A little bit. I've never heard that term before, so I was just kind
Oh,
of cryptid.
yeah, that's why I
Interesting.
Googled it, and I even Googled a list of them to
Okay.
mix because I didn't wanna just do Bigfoot because I figured, well, everybody's gonna do Bigfoot or Loch Ness
Right.
Monster, and so I grew up in New York and I'm now living in Arkansas, so I combined both of them and did one from each area.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
cryptids, I guess, would you say they're like sort of like urban myths
urban
of
myths and
creature
legends or yes,
creatures? Okay.
yeah.
Interesting. Well, learn something every day. Thank you for telling me about
You're
that.
welcome.
So you've mentioned now that because you're a new writer, you've got all these short stories out, but at the beginning you said you were trying to write novels. So where do you sit with your novel work?
So, the one that I have coming out in the spring was actually my first novel I ever wrote. I
Hmm.
mean, I rewrote it quite a few times. I didn't just
Okay.
write it and like I wasn't some prodigy that got published. Um,
Right.
there are so many versions of that novel on my computer, it's embarrassing. But
Mm.
um, I've got book 2 done, and I had already started a YA that is outlined and partly done that I was already shopping when I got this contract. So I had to put that one on hold to finish my publishing deal with the middle grade stuff.
Okay.
And then I'll pick that one back up. So then as my middle graders get older, they'll have a new
Hmm.
series to read.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned 2 books. What can you, tell us what the titles of the books are or what they're about?
The first one is Marked by Magic, the one I mentioned about the
Okay.
boy with the family. The second one is untitled right now because I just finished the first draft, and as soon as I get the dev edits on the first book from my publisher,
Mhm.
you can polish up. I wanna make sure there's no conflicting information with anything they wanna change,
Right.
and I have an idea of what I want the second one to be about, and I can't tell you without giving huge spoilers on the first one. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And what genre are they in?
It's a middle grade fantasy steampunk mix-up.
Okay. Is that the market that you're is feeling comfortable with, or are you also doing adult fiction?
I do all my short stories are adult fiction with the exception
Right.
of The Weird Wilderness, which was,
Mhm.
for
Right.
younger audience. I
Mhm.
like both. I love writing for adults, I love writing for young people, and I'm not gonna pick. I'm gonna keep doing both.
And you're gonna keep submitting to Writers of the Future.
Absolutely. Until I win. Yeah.
Until you
So,
win, yeah.
fingers crossed.
Okay, very good. Well, I think that's all I've got. Is there anything else you'd like to mention that hasn't come up yet?
Um, I would say that writing, like if you're not reading to your kids, that's one of the best ways to teach your kids empathy is
Okay.
by reading to them. And such a great way to connect with your
Mhm.
kids. And even if you don't have kids, I mean, you get to learn about people from everywhere just by reading. And
Right.
anyway, I'm always going to give a plug for reading.
Sure. Very good. Now, I'm curious because it sounds like you know a lot of writers fairly closely. Was that something that happened with you in New York? Because you're out in Arkansas now. That must be a lot harder.
It is a lot harder. It happened as a result of Superstars. I go
Oh,
to the
okay.
Superstars writing seminars conference every year since I
Okay.
got the
Where's that
scholarship.
held?
That's held in Colorado Springs,
Okay.
Colorado, and
Mm.
it's a group of writers who a lot of times when you go to writers conferences, it's more people who want to be a writer but haven't really done anything with it. This is a conference of writers. These
Okay.
people are accomplished, and what is unique about them is they don't just teach the craft, they teach the business of writing.
Okay.
And so you get both. It was started by Brandon Sanderson, Kevin J. Anderson, Dave Farland, Eric Flint, and I'm so afraid I'm going to forget someone and they're going to hate me and kick me out. Um, I know I'm forgetting someone.
Oh,
Anyway, but some of the best. And they got together
sure.
because they were like, we know writing, but the business is where we all struggle.
Okay.
So
Very
that
cool.
connection with other writers is so important.
Right. And why is that?
One, you have support. I mean, it is a solitary career. It's
Sure.
me. And now I don't mind that. I'm kind of a scaredy cat who prefers to be behind her computer.
Okay.
And but it's nice to have connection. I mean, everybody wants connection and community.
Right.
And so it's like, and we actually call ourselves, we're the tribe, it's our tribe. And we
Mhm.
support each other. And if we have questions, we can ask, what's working for you on this? Or if we want to trade what's called beta reading, you read my novel, I'll read yours, and we'll
Okay.
help each other improve it. I can't recommend Superstars enough, honestly.
Okay, very good. Well, I wanna thank you for your time, and I wish you all the, best of luck with your future projects.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Okay.
me.
You're welcome, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. All
Okay, take care now. Bye-bye.
right. Bye.